Have a good day to everyone, to my fellow classmate, to our beloved Professor Faith Harmony Macabinta. Good morning. My topic for today is about the physical self and sexual self. Understanding self, understanding of who they are, what makes them unique, knowing what motivates them, his or her action. Physical self, sexual self, social self, competent self, and the inner or psychological self. In understanding self, we have personality domains. Number one, real self, who I am. Number two, ideal self, who I want to be. Remember that self is a concept or belief that an individual has of him or herself as emotional, spiritual, and social being. The idea of who I am, kind of like a self-reflection of one's well-being. Anything about yourself. However, today, let us talk about the physical self and the sexual self. And there was a saying goes like this: learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else. By Leonardo da Vinci. Physical self refers to the body, which we interface with our environment and fellow being. It is a tangible aspect of the person that can be directly observed and examined. People nowadays are too conscious on how they look, how they see themselves in the mirror, how people will look at them, and what will people say about them. Our concept of ourselves and the perception of people around us will always have big effect on how we deal in a situation, cultural or not. And this discussion of physical self has found place on different schools of psychology, like psychoanalysis, behaviorism, humanism, etc. For example, William James considered body as initial source of sensation and necessary for the origin and maintenance of personality. It is an element of spiritual hygiene of supreme significance. For example, a boxer during a fight do not notice or feels his wounds until the intensity of fight has subsided. Sigmund Freud, in psychoanalytical school, construction of self and personality makes the physical body the core of human experience. William Rich argued that mind and body are one. All psychological processes he postulated are a part of physical process and vice versa. According to Erik Erikson, the role of bodily organs is especially important in early development stage of a person's life. Later in life, the development of physical as well as intellectual skills help determine whether the individual will achieve a sense of competence and ability to choose demanding roles in a complex society. For example, a child gets their confidence when they bigger, stronger, faster, more capable of learning complex skills. Carl Jung argued that the physical body and the external world can be known only as psychological experience. B.F. Skinner says that the role of the body is of primary importance, which from the different orientation clearly shows us and explains how people deals with their physical self, regardless of what culture or tradition he or she may be. His or her interpretation of himself will be how people act in the community. Self-esteem. According to Gloria Gaynor, we all know that self-esteem comes from what you think of you, not what other people think of you. We have the different kinds of self-esteem. Number one, the inflated self-esteem. And these people holds high regards of themselves, better than the other to the point of underestimating them. It's just like when you look at the mirror, even though you are chubby physically, but you look at in the mirror as an atlas physical image. Another kind of self-esteem is high self-esteem. This is a positive self-esteem, which make the person be satisfied of themselves. Okay, they have self-confidence. Okay, they have pride or whatever, no, of themselves. Okay, so, and the last one is low self-esteem. And this person do not value themselves and do not trust their possibilities. And most of the times, these self-esteems are defined by what physical attributes they have. Beauty as defined by the society, culture, or tradition is what matter to the person. My friends, in conclusion, people from different culture have opted to change their features in attempt to meet the cultural standards of beauty, as well as their religious and or social obligation. They modify and adorn their bodies as part of complex process of creating and recreating their personal and social identity to be accepted by society and to be able to accept them or accept themselves. And this includes body painting, tattooing, jewelries, okay, adornments. Youth in present times are too conscious of their physical attributes that they are not confident to face the day without makeup. As our physical self dictates how we act in front of other people, it also defines how we will manage our self-esteem. Yet, this self-esteem is vital on how we form positive and healthy relationship with people around us. And now we will proceed to the sexual self. Okay, the sexual self. As we come to understand the beauty of physical self, it is also proper to learn to understand the sexual self. As a psychoanalytical theory state, that physical body is the core of human experience as form of construction of self and personality. Sigmund Freud maintained that the nature of the conflicts among id or ego and superego changes over time as a person grows from child to adult. But there are psycho stages that focuses oral, anal, phallic, and genital. Thus, these stages are directly related to different physical center of pleasures. To fully appreciate sexual self, it is necessary to understand human reproductive system, erogenous zone, and human sexual behavior. Okay, let's now talk about the understanding basic sexual behavior. Number one is human sexual behavior is complex and complicated. Thus, it is not at all different from other species. To illustrate, men's sexual behavior can occur at any time by being aroused to a certain stimuli. At puberty, the state began to secrete or androgens, male sex hormone, which produce secondary sex characteristic like growth of bodily hair and change in tone of voice. Female sexual behavior start at puberty, where the two ovaries begin to produce estrogens and progesterone, female sex hormones. And this stage of puberty for female occurs in cyclical manner where also brought changes. While for non-human period of ovulation is only when the ovulation occurs to the female species is receptive to sex. Human reproductive system is an organ system by which reproduce and bear live offspring. It requires the union between the male and female reproductive system, to which carries out the produce or to produce another life form, provided that all organs are present. Human reproductive systems work from the release of egg cell from female reproductive organs to the fertilization of sperm cells, to the conception up to the giving birth of the baby, and eventually to the returns of the female physical body to the original state. Male reproductive system. Okay, letter A, we have testis. Okay, in the most important part of the male reproductive organ. It is the source of spermatozoa, male germ cell. And then we have scrotum. Scrotum, it is a sac of skin where the two testes are enveloped directly below and outside of the abdomen. And letter C, we have prostate glands. It is a gland that carries out both urine and seminal fluid. It is connected by sperm ducts from sperm ducts joining into single tube called urethra. Urethra then leads to the outside of the body through penis. Letter D, penis, it is where the ejaculation occurs by sending sperm cell from testis and secrete out. Letter E is sperm. It is a male, okay, a male gametes, one that is necessary for the egg to develop and become a baby. Female reproductive system. In female reproductive system, we have one ovary. It is a pair of small, okay, oval organs which produce ova or ovum, female germ cell. Thousands of ova will mature and will be taken up to the fallopian tube through the uterus by the time of puberty. Number two is fallopian tube, are pair of thin tube that leads from ovaries to the uterus. Number three, uterus. Womb. It is a hollow pear-shaped, clastic, muscular structure where fertilized ovum or zygote develops into a baby. Number four, vagina. It is a tube leading to outside of the body through an opening called the vulva. During the sexual intercourse, the semen from male is discharged into the vagina. The sperms will begin moving up to the uterus, reaching the fallopian tube, and during the travel, most of the sperms will die while climbing up the fallopian tube. Only one sperm will enter the ovum and can remain alive for only 12 hours. In these times, if it meets ovum, which will lead to fertilization. And this zygote or fertilized egg will form in an embryo from which will enter, okay, gestation period. It is around 9 months in time for the woman to give birth. We have also the physiological aspect of sexual excitement. Erogenous. These are part of the body that particularly sensitive to touch, pressure, and vibration, which contributes to arousal. So identifying erogenous zone, okay, which is what we call hotspots, gives different reaction and effect to a person. For one, this could bring sexual satisfaction, also improve sexual health, and stimulating different spots may produce different reaction to the body. Female and male erogenous zone are reproductive organ. Vagina, penis, or scrotum, and clitoris. Mouth, lips, neck, breast, nipples, and ears. So all of these are part of erogenous zone. And also we have phases of sexual response. Although erogenous zone brings us to sexual arousal, which is unique to its individual, people share same basic aspect of sexual responsiveness. According to Johnson and Master in 1966, sexual response follow a regular pattern consistent of 4 pieces: arousal, plateau, orgasm, and resolution. So the arousal phase is subjective sense of sexual pleasure. The physiological sign in males is penile to tumescence or erection or vasocongestion to female leads to vaginal lubrication and nipple erection. The plateau phase is a brief period of time before the orgasm. It is the body, okay, body's preparation for orgasm. The orgasm phase is an intense, highly pleasurable experience when this phase is reached. Okay? Rhythmic muscular construction occur in the genitals. In male, the construction expel semen, fluid containing sperm, a process called ejaculation. For women and men, breathing and heart rates reach maximum. And the last stage of sexual arousal, the resolution stage, where the decrease of arousal, particularly in male, happens, genital resume their unaroused state and shape. Blood pressure, breathing, and heart rate return to normal. But we have also diversity of sexual behavior. Sexual behaviors transcends in different forms. It may be influenced by not only the basic physiological aspect of sexuality, but also by a different expectation, attitudes, beliefs, and state of medical and biological knowledge. It made sexual behavior take a more diverse form, such as heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality, transsexuality, and transgenderism. So I will not be talking about this diverse sexual behavior one by one, but I would like to talk about the natural and artificial method of contraception. As overpopulation and countless cases of sexual transmitted disease or STD, such as gonorrhea, syphilis, okay, along with the threat of acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, no, the government educates people the importance of contraception, and there are two kinds of contraception. Okay, number one is the natural contraception. Natural contraception. So the natural contraception type of birth control that depend with observation on woman's body through monitoring and recording different fertility signals during her menstrual cycle. Through their different methods, one may be predict when it is safe or when a woman will more likely to get pregnant. And this may be in a form of abstinence, calendar method, okay, basal body temperature method, cervical mucus method, okay, symptothermal method, ovulation detection, okay, lactation, amenorrhea method, and or coitus interruptus method. And the second is the artificial contraception method of contraception using to prevent conception of the woman. And there are different types of artificial contraception, but not all types are appropriate for all situations. Using artificial contraception depends on the individual health status, age, sexual activity, or a number of partners. And these are oral contraception, transdermal patch, vaginal ring, okay, subdermal implants, hormonal injection, okay, intrauterine device or IUD, chemical barriers diaphragm, cervical cup, male and female condoms, surgical methods, vasectomy, and tubal ligation. In conclusion, my friends, look at our world today. Will tell us that sexual freedom and happiness depends on our choices to have sexual activity whenever and with whomever we want. It would have us believe that saving sex for marriage takes away our joy and is an outdated notion that doesn't apply to our lives today. The scripture and science say otherwise. My friends, if we follow the ways of the world, we will not only experience less happiness, we will actually reap undesirable consequences as well. My friends, remaining sexually pure before marriage frees us from this negative emotional, psychological, and physical outcome. However, my friends, when we follow the ways of God, we will discover that sex within marriage is the best way to enjoy sex. As He has wired us to do so, we will then have real sexual joy and freedom and the liberty to enjoy heightened emotional intimacy and increased sexual pleasure. It is the freedom to be truly known and loved in a lifelong and committed covenant of marriage. We will enjoy God's best for us when we obey His plan for our human flourishing. God bless us all.